Now, those of you who keep up with The Witcher, y'all already know that this has happened. Henry Cavill is no longer going to be a part of the show, and he's being replaced by Liam Hemsworth. And a lot of people are saying the same things, and they're saying that Henry Cavill, combined obviously with the fact that he's returning to DC for Superman, like they're saying that he had some issues with how the show was being run. So let's read this article and talk about it. So Forbes wrote up a piece that gives us some insight into what everyone is saying is happening, right? So Henry Cavill's Witcher exits, is it Superman related or show problems? Okay, so Netflix shocked the world on Saturday afternoon when they announced one of its biggest stars would be leaving one of its biggest shows. Henry Cavill will be leaving The Witcher after the upcoming season 3 and handing the role over to Liam Hemsworth for season 4. I'm not sure if I've ever heard a bit of entertainment news met with such universal condemnation. Nothing against the younger Hemsworth brother, but if there was anything every Witcher book and game fan agreed on, it was how perfect Cavill was for the role. So what happened here? The Occam's Razor explains that this is directly tied to the recent announcement that Cavill would be back starring as Superman in the DCEU, now under the direction of James Gunn. It's the other role he has that everyone believes he's perfect for, and the idea is that it's a bigger part with a likely bigger paycheck, and he couldn't do both. And I thought, you know, I was thinking about this, but I just knew how invested Henry Cavill was in this character or in the story, and I'm just like, obviously DC offering him a big ass fat ass check, like I already know it. He over there smiling, making Instagram videos talking about I'm back at Superman, like I already know that they giving him a fat ass check, right? So, but at the same time, I just don't, from what I can see, I just don't think Henry would just toss some shit away for a fatter check. It's Henry Cavill. He could do whatever he wanted to make money. You see what I'm saying? Like, so to do this in this way just for a check, it doesn't seem like it would be just an easy, whimsical, you know, an easy decision for him to come to. And, you know, a lot of people are saying that is kind of right. It sure feels like there may be more to it than that. However, while difficult, it's not impossible for actors to juggle a TV show with movies. Exactly. And we know that Henry Cavill was absolutely enormously passionate about playing a character. Exactly. So there's extra motivation for him to make that work somehow and not leave the series unfinished. The theory is that there may be some behind the scenes drama on The Witcher that perhaps was an extra motivator for Henry to leave, not just because of his upcoming Superman duties. In past interviews, Cavill seems to suggest that he wants the show to basically match the book more, right? So he says, as far as the preparation goes coming into this, I wanted the character to have a closer relationship to the character in the books. I wanted him to be more book accurate. And so it was more to do with making sure and campaigning for him to sound more intellectual, more philosophical, and to have an emotional side as well, rather than just be a grumpy snowman. Every day I was pushing this stuff as far as prep goes. At the present, he can be a little uncommunicative, and I'm obviously working on that. And then recently another story broke about a former producer, Bo DeMaio, on The Witcher, talking about how the writers on the show disliked the games and books the series was based on. I've been on show, namely Witcher, where some of the writers were not or actively disliked the books and games, even actively mocking the source material. He said, it's a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Fandom as a litmus test checks egos and makes all the long nights worth it. You have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy. This is not some anonymous source stirring up drama. This was an actual producer of the show saying this. If accurate, you can see how such a view would drive Henry Cavill, an enormous superfan of both the books and games, absolutely nuts. The end result, especially in season 2, felt like a show that was being carried by Cavill's performance, but was altering too much about the source material for fans' liking. And Cavill himself being a diehard fan no doubt necessitated conflict there. It is not rocket science to connect these dots. As for the show itself, we will have at least one more season with Cavill as Geralt, but it sure feels like they should just can it after he leaves. There's no way the show will survive losing him, more so than other series where this has happened. And again, no offense to Hemsworth, it's just unfathomable to see the series working without Cavill's central performance. My guess is the idea is 5 books, 5 seasons, with Hemsworth filling in for the last 2 to make it to the end. But man, it's going to be a rough road to get there now, and this is a tremendous loss for Netflix and Witcher fans, even if part of it ends up being Warner Brothers and DC's gain. So yeah, I have no idea how this show is going to move forward after this season, like with Henry Cavill not being a part of it. And the fact that, I mean, there was, let me see if I can get some other ones up, because Henry Cavill was talking about this for quite some time. Apparently, Lauren S. Hissrich, she was a showrunner for The Witcher. She did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter some time back and said that, let me see, star Henry Cavill pushed for The Witcher to have more dialogue so the character would appear more like his novel counterpart. A lot of the notes he was sending me were about the character's dialogue. Could he, first of all, say more? I guess that was the first request. God damn. She then reflected on how season 1 portrayed The Witcher. Everybody came out of season 1 laughing and loving Geralt's fuming, but Henry Cavill was saying that when you read the books, you spend a lot of time in Geralt's head, so how can we put that on the page? Henry also said, the toughest part for me was finding that balance between the showrunners. This was another time he said, the toughest part for me was finding the balance between the showrunner's vision and my love for the books, and trying to bring that Geralt to the showrunner's vision. It's about treading a fine line there. It's the showrunner's story, and so it's an adaptation. The tricky bit for me was finding Geralt from the books place within that and being able to serve both as much as I could. The things that I pushed for, it was not necessarily just more dialogue. It was bringing a more book accurate Geralt to the screen. Because, as I'm sure you know in the books, Geralt is an amateur philosopher. He's an intellectual. He's wise and thoughtful. Yes, he's at times morose, morbid, and snarky, but it's important for me to have the character be 3-dimensional. So Henry been saying all this, right? Like, Henry has apparently been saying that Geralt, I mean, it's funny to see Geralt grunt, and you know, it's funny, but like, the fact that he's not talking is annoying Henry Cavill as much as he can, as much as he needs to be, is annoying. It was annoying Henry Cavill. Also, the fact of just what he was saying, period. The fact that, like he said, the character needed to be more 3-dimensional. And if you have somebody or an actor who's just a fan of the source material, fan of the books, fan of the games and stuff, and then y'all don't even listen to him when he's telling you, I mean, I can understand what he's saying. I 100% get what Henry is saying, having watched all the seasons and all that stuff. I mean, even watched the damn animated movie. Like, I get what Henry's saying, but I guess I had not been really paying attention to the interviews and to like the extra stuff, because I did not even know that he was he was fighting like this for his character to say more, or to just be doing more, to be more in depth. And they just not listen to his ass. So, I mean, you need to tell me this man is passionate about the stuff, passionate about the work. Y'all not listening to him. Then on top of, for a long time, I guess. And then on top of that, DC want him back, and they offering him a fat ass check. Hopefully they will be listening to him when it comes to his Superman character as well, because I think he wanted to make sure, of course, he wanted to make sure that the character, any character you're playing, goes in a good direction, right? The story goes in a good direction. So of course he gonna go where the fat ass check is at. Like, period. Y'all ain't listening to him. So I mean, I get it. I don't think this show will survive the shit either, because it's like, when I turn that shit on, I want to see Henry Cavill ass. And I do want to see Yennefer, my girl. You already know I love her, and I hate the way that they depowered her last season. I hated it. Oh my God, I hated it. So yeah, I don't think, no shade to Liam and none of that. It's just, it's not giving to me. It's just, I don't see how this show gonna survive that shit. I really don't see it. If somebody could let me know, if that, like, just let me know. But I'm not seeing this. I don't know. Like, y'all should listen. Especially, I mean, you got people back there making fun of the source material that y'all are actually working on to adapt. It's like, of course the morale's gonna be shitty. So let me know what y'all think of this. I'm gonna watch this next upcoming season. I am, but I can't promise I'm gonna keep watching after that. Like, let's be real about that. Come on now. Let me know what y'all think. Love y'all so much. Thanks for checking out the video, and I will catch y'all later.